Rappers stepping to me. They wanna get some, but most of them should go and try to boost their monthly income. Speaking over beats is the only time I feel complete. I don't hear the weak and I don't fear defeat. So
nice, look at this. Crazy that I still have this. Awarded to Oliver Lam Watson for the Peter Battley OA Memorial Prize, academic year 2010 to 2011. This was the year I left school, so that was like 8 years ago. Oh my god. So the Peter Battley OA Memorial Prize is a prize for achievement in the face of adversity. So that's the criteria of the prize. At the time I was like, this is great. Prize, £25 book voucher, don't even know what I bought with it. But what did I achieve? I got average marks throughout pretty much all of my school career.
Eat my shorts.
You just bought yourself another Saturday, mister.
I got pretty okay A-levels, got into my university, but not by any flying colours or massive achievement by any means of the word. So what had I actually achieved if you took my disability out of the equation? I don't really think much, to be honest. I was quite an average student. So a couple of years after that, I went to university. Fast forward like 10 years or 8 years, and I'm about to finish, I just finished university, and they invited me back to do a talk on employability. Stupid, because I actually didn't have a job at the time, but I was like, obviously I'm doing this. Will look great on the CV and make me more employable. Smart. So anyway, I was about to do the talk, and I had one of the students who was attending the talk come up to me and be like, oh, are you doing a motivational, inspirational, kind of all that kind of stuff talk? And I was like, no, I'm doing a talk on employability. And this got me thinking, that most people only see disabled people as a sort of source of inspiration and motivation sometimes. And, it wasn't this guy's fault. He, wasn't being malicious or anything like that. It was just, I guess, most people he'd come into contact with, or most disabled people, were that source of, like, motivation, from TED Talks and from this and from that and from Instagram posts and da-da-da-da. And I kind of realised that most people only really experience disabled people as this, like, object of inspiration. And it wasn't really the student's fault. He just, I guess, hadn't come in. Most people in life that you come into contact with aren't disabled. Like your postman, your lawyer, your tutors, and I don't know, your milkman. And I think sometimes because of that, we're sort of seen as like these people that are not really real people, but we're just kind of there to inspire others. And I hate to disappoint, but this video isn't about inspiring you. Sorry. It's about a lie that I think that we've been told, that a lot of us have been told, and that is that disability is a bad thing. So bad, in fact, that to live with a disability, you must be like an incredible person, like you must be exceptional and amazing. Sorry to disappoint again, but it's not that bad. And it doesn't really make you that exceptional. I don't feel exceptional because I have a disability. And I don't think it makes anyone else exceptional for the sole reason of being disabled.
You are not a beautiful or unique snowflake.
But the thing is that you've probably seen a lot of these images online, which is what I want to talk about today, of, people, disabled kids or disabled people, like walking or swimming or doing all these things, and, with the captions like, the only disability is, like, your mindset, or, like, what's your excuse, or, let me find some, hold on, let me type in, disability motivation. My ability is stronger than my disability. Limitations live only in our minds, and it's got like a disabled dude like jumping. Never ignore someone with a disability. You don't realise how much they can inspire you. Never ignore me. Disability is not disability, it's powerful motivation. This is the best one. If they can do it, you can do it. She's literally just sat on a rock in a bathing suit. So maybe if she can do it, you can do it. It's things like that kind of annoy me a little bit. And so these images are what you would call inspiration porn. Warning, this video contains strong language and fire. And it may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. Yeah, sorry. And what this phrase means is, you know, it's sort of like the objectification of one set of people for the benefit of another. And in this case, it's disabled people being objectified for the benefit of able-bodied people and just general people. But it's by companies and by organizations and things like that for the benefit of like for their own benefit, which I think is bad. Maybe there's no right or wrong answer. This is more of a conversation. I'm trying to work out the answer because I don't really know where I sit on this topic. It's a bit confusing, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
I think what annoys me about these images is that, and this whole inspiration porn thing, is that a lot of the time it's just showing a disabled person there with like one arm or doing whatever, I don't know what it might be, swimming or walking, and being like, you know, life's hard, but like, look how hard it could have been. Look how bad it is for that. Your problems are not that bad because look how difficult it is for that person. Which I don't really like, the idea of using disabled people as like a kind of, look how bad it could have been.
Could be worse.
Now, don't get me wrong, I've had countless people come up to me and say like, amazing, what you're doing is brilliant, when I'm like doing a Spartan race.
5k, just pulled a massive breeze block.
Well done to you,
breeze
mate.
block. Thank you.
Or when I'm like running somewhere, going to the gym and stuff like that. And like people coming up and being like, you're a motivation, you're amazing, you're so brilliant, whatever. And like, again, this is just things that normal people do, especially when I'm doing Spartan races. I was doing it with Josh at the time, and I was like, you know, this guy's put in just as much work as me. And like any of you guys have put in just as much work as me and maybe harder. But I'm getting credit for it. I'm getting like, you know, motivation points because I'm disabled. And I don't really know how I feel about that, but I don't mind it as much maybe as when people come up to me when I'm just living my life, when I'm like carrying a coffee or walking up some stairs or like, you know, just standing, using my phone, and people are like, you're so brave. You're amazing. And I'm like, why? Like, because I woke up this morning and like remembered my own name and was able to like carry a coffee. Like, that's not amazing. Like, I think the thing I always ask myself is, if an able-bodied person did it, would it be inspirational as well? Like, don't get me wrong, if someone climbs Kilimanjaro on crutches or not on crutches, it's equally, you know, they're both inspiring, amazing things.
What others might think is my biggest achievement is summiting Denali or Mount McKinley, which is what it was called when I did it in 1985. I was the first disabled person to actually summit that mountain.
Fine. If an able-bodied person gets to the Olympics, or a disabled person gets to the Paralympics, also amazing things. If a disabled person carries a cup of coffee and an able-bodied person carries a cup of coffee, the disabled person's amazing, but it's just a normal thing. There's this discrepancy between them, and I don't really understand that. Now, don't get me wrong, I think everyone faces their own challenges and has things to overcome, and living with a disability, yes, there are things that you have to change and adapt and overcome, and there are challenges that we face. But living with a disability, those challenges are not usually the ones that you would expect. I think a lot of the challenges that disabled people face in today's society aren't actually the ones caused by their disability and their diagnosis, but they're actually the ones that are caused by society and the preconceptions of what a disabled person should be. And I think there's this idea of like social disability philosophy, which is the idea that we're more disabled by society than we are by our disability, which is something that I quite agree with. And like, as a result of this, I've spent a lot of my time in life trying to change people's perceptions and tell them what I can do, and like say, oh, you know, I can walk upstairs, oh, you know, I'm not inspirational for this, oh, you know, disabled people are capable, etc., etc., etc. But what I've noticed is that never really changes anything. People's perceptions are based on the first thing that they see, and that's usually my crutches or, you know, someone else's wheelchair, and they usually think of what they can't do before they think about what they can do. So what I found is that the only way is just to show people what you can do. And I use things like my social media, my YouTube, my Instagram to change those perceptions, to show people what I can do. But this brings me back to my first point of inspiration porn. Like flicking through my Instagram, which I'll put a link for down below. I'll put a couple of images up from it now. Am I making inspiration porn? Here's an image that I just posted fairly recently. Dream big, take the first step into the unknown, or skate, it's faster. I put it here. Confidence isn't walking into a room and thinking you're the best. Confidence is walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to others. Only after disaster can we resurrect. Now, is my Instagram motivation porn? Am I a porn star? Get the moustache. And if so, is my content detrimental to the wider disabled community? Or is it different because I'm an individual and I'm creating those things and I'm documenting my journey? Like, I don't know. It's quite a kind of interesting topic. Is it okay for companies to use disabled people to inspire the masses? Would it be the same if those people weren't disabled? Is there like a right or wrong way of doing it? Is there a line not to cross? I guess my opinion of it is like twofold. The first question I would ask would be, is that individual who's being portrayed in this photo okay with it? Or have you just Googled disabled person, found a photo online, and then put a caption on it? Second is, I guess, the approach of the photo and what it's trying to achieve. Is it, look at this disabled person, look how difficult it is, look how life is hard for that person, what's your excuse? Or my problems don't seem that bad compared to that person, so that's why I feel like I should go out and get off my ass and do something. If that person can do it, I can do it because that person's in a worse position than me. Is it portraying disabled people in a worse position than the average person and thus motivating the average person to do more? Because I don't feel like disabled people should be seen as less, and I'm not really okay with being the kind of barometer for how bad it can be. I don't feel like that, and I don't want to be portrayed as that. I guess as long as the photo provokes a feeling of like motivation from a place of admiration, that like, wow, that person's brilliant, good for that person, rather than, as opposed to a feeling of inspiration based on feeling sorry for that person, then I guess it's okay. I don't feel as strongly about that. I don't feel it's a negative thing. But there's really no right or wrong answer. I don't really know where I stand on it. I'm trying to work it out through this video, and I'm not really trying to come to a conclusion through this video. I just sort of want to open up a wider question and a debate and ask you guys, what do you think on this topic? Where do you, is there a line? And if so, where do you draw that line? Are disabled people inherently motivational? Should they not be used as motivational? Is it that person's choice if they want to pursue a life of being inspirational, motivational in the same way that lots of able-bodied people do, to pursue that? Again, I don't know. I guess everyone's an individual and they can do their own thing, but it'd be really interesting to hear what you guys think of this. And sorry it's been a long chatty video, but I'm really wanting to dive deeper into these ideas and these conversation-based topics as opposed to just my old video style. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you guys when I see you.
Really been there. My peers have been held back for years, holding back the tears. Everybody knows our name like we was the cast from Cheers.